Thomas Tuchel, Mr. Thomas Tuchel, excuses won't work now. I think we have lost the second match now in the Premier League just in 5 matches. Our goal difference is negative. And how are we expecting to even be in the top 4? Forget about challenging for the title. Title challenge is gone. But how can we even expect to be in the top 4 based on the current performance? Few Chelsea supporters I could see are blaming Kai Havertz, Mount. I agree with them. I will come to them later on. They are to be blamed surely. But the main blame out here lies with Thomas Tuchel. Because if you look at his game, the way he sets up is good. But whenever the team transitions to attack, as in like whenever the opponent team has a deep backline and are defending deep, Thomas Tuchel and his Thomas Tuchel tactics don't allow Chelsea players to commit numbers in the opponent's box, in the opponent's penalty box. There are hardly 2 to 3 plays, and the only simple play is that either they will be giving the pass to the left wing back or to the right wing back. He will be crossing it, and the 2 players who would be inside the penalty box, they would be hoping that they will score the goals. We don't even have that Lukaku or a Tammy Abraham to even score those kind of headers out here. We are playing with a false 9, sometimes with Kai Havertz or sometimes with Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling is 5 feet 6 inches tall. How do you expect that gameplay to work on Raheem Sterling when Raheem Sterling is in the team? Thing to keep ball possession, that is good. That is a new thing that has been going on, and most teams are adapting to that style itself to keep the ball possession. But it doesn't make any sense just to have the ball for the sake of having it. The last match, which was versus Southampton, was such a boring match. There was no excitement at all whenever the Chelsea players were out to attack, because we know that nothing is going to come out from it. Look at the goal difference. Last season, even Arsenal weren't scoring goals. But this season, they are improved massively. But the same problem is happening with Chelsea. But last season as well, Tuchel was blaming that we don't have a proper number 9. We agreed with him. We agreed with Thomas Tuchel, saying that okay, he's a top class manager because anyways he's a world class manager and he's 100 times an improvement on our previous manager Frank Lampard. So no one doubted him, at least for the last season, when he said that our number 9 is lacking. And we felt that we would score goals, or at least look to score goals in this season. Mikel Arteta has improved tremendously in terms of scoring goals, and our goal difference is in negative, which is a shame for us if we wanted to challenge for the title, and we are sitting with a goal difference which is in negative. First, Tuchel has to take the blame on himself, and although he's a world class manager, but he has to do something whenever the teams have the ball and they're looking to attack. But whenever it comes to the teams who are lying deep, Chelsea struggle massively. They have no creativity out there. That is where the manager comes in. That is where the training comes in. Pep Guardiola also has to deal with the same thing, since he plays with the same style. Even Liverpool plays with the same style whenever the opponent teams are lying back, but they still manage to score 4 to 5 goals per game on an average. And we can't even score a single goal. Suppose if it was Roman Abramovich and these were the results, if he was facing these results, the pressure on Thomas Tuchel would have been tremendous. And firstly, wouldn't have even come to this point that we would have lost 2 matches in the first 5 games under Roman Abramovich. No chance. That was kind of the pressure that Abramovich used to create on his every manager. It seems that there is no pressure at all on Thomas Tuchel and the players. Under Roman Abramovich, the pressure used to pass to the managers, and who in turn used to pass the pressure onto the players, and they used to perform. That is how an owner ideally should be. Todd Boehly is new. We should give him some time for sure. But at least your managers can't be so carefree thinking that yes, nothing can happen to him. He's immune to everything, even though the results are not going accordingly. That is not how Chelsea works. And this transfer window, to be very honest, has been the second worst transfer window for Chelsea. Second worst. The first worst was the worst transfer window would be the time when we had signed in Morata, Bakayoko, Zappa Costa, Emerson. That would be a Drinkwater. That was the worst transfer window ever. This is the second worst transfer window, because it seemed that we are only after the defenders. Every other day we are linked only with defenders. It is getting boring now. There is no excitement at all left in the Chelsea supporters. We have spent 35 million pounds on Koulibaly. We have spent 62 million pounds on Cucurella, who is not even a slightest improvement on Ben Chilwell. When we had Ben Chilwell and when we had Emerson or Kennedy as a backup, why did we need to sign Cucurella? I don't understand at all. and he's not a 62 million pound player by any means. Although he has super stamina, he can run in and out the pitch. But in Thomas Tuchel's system, even the left wing backs score goals. Alonso and Chilwell can score goals. Cucurella can't score goals. So that is his biggest weakest point. And to spend 62 million pounds on a player, seriously, man, it is too high. And that's the reason why I think the Brighton owner is coming on to the TV shows and saying that Todd Bowley is very difficult to deal with, because he himself knows that he has, paid twice the amount that Cucurella deserves. He's not no ways worth more than 40 million pounds. But we have paid 62 million pounds for another defender, alright. Now we have signed in Fofana for 85 million pounds. My god, I can't even imagine the kind of, even if it is not my money, but still I feel bad that we are spending such heavy money on defenders. From when did defenders 85 million pounds for Fofana? When we had Levi Colwill out here, and we have sent him on loan to Brighton, and we have paying 85 million pounds of Fofana from Leicester City. I don't even think he is going to be a perfect signing for sure, because he's injury prone and he hasn't even had the experience, just one season experience with Leicester. And you are paying 85 million pounds. Now Chelsea are linked with Guardiola, wherein they have said they have paid 90 million pounds for another RB Leipzig defender, and he will be sent on loan for one season. I mean, the selling club would be saying that what a fool the Chelsea owner is, or the Chelsea board is. What kind of fools are Chelsea board sitting on there? That they're willing to pay 90 million pounds to a player, and they're willing to send him on loan for free, and they will take him in the next season. What kind of deal is this, man? And that to 90 million pounds, when you already have Levi Colwill, when you already have Ethan Ampadu, when you already have Trevoh Chalobah. This will mean that Trevoh Chalobah will have to leave Chelsea on loan. Does it make any sense? Any sense at all? Trevoh Chalobah performed brilliantly against Leicester City with 10 men. But the next match, he was being benched out. I don't know whether he was injured or not, but he was being benched, and doesn't seem, after Fofana, I don't think that Trevoh Chalobah will get any chances now in the team. Despite having so many players, so many youngsters, you should have trusted with them. Thomas Tuchel is busy buying defenders. Chelsea have signed in just one winger, and that too they have signed after defenders. They have spent money on the two youngsters who are defensive midfielders basically for $15 million, and then they have spent some money for the goalkeeper who plays in the American League. And they have signed in only one winger, natural winger, and that is Raheem Sterling, who has been the best signing for me and for everyone out there. It can be clearly seen that he is the only best signing that Chelsea have signed in. Koulibaly is not that good. It doesn't seem he is that vocal. To replace Antonio Rudiger was a difficult task, because he was our best player last season, without a doubt. Even though Mason Mount won the best player for Chelsea for last season, but Antonio Rudiger was the unsung hero for Chelsea for last season. The passion which he had for Chelsea was immense. And he was super vocal as well in the back line. He was leading the back line. But now it is, although we could give Koulibaly is very new in the team, we could give him some chance, but it doesn't seem that he is very vocal. He's very quiet. And so it doesn't make him move. Look at Raheem Sterling. He is vocal. He wants to prove something. He wants to score goals. There is hunger in him. You can see the hunger in Sterling. But you can't see that in Koulibaly. He seems little relaxed as well. So Raheem Sterling is our best signing for sure. And he is actually, and this kind of signing Chelsea need, not Fofana and Guardiola and that Cucurella. Fuck man, we need 2 to 3 great wingers. Look at Antonio. If you want to win the Premier League, Mr. Todd Bowley should understand that Chelsea, whenever they have last won the Premier League under Antonio Conte, we had Eden Hazard as a left winger. We had Willian as a right winger. We had Pedro to cover Willian up. We had Diego Costa as a striker. These were the kind of players that Chelsea had at that time, and that's the reason why we won the Premier League. If Raheem Sterling would have been that team, do you think Raheem Sterling would have even had a chance to start? He would be definitely on the bench. Now he's our main player. That shows the difference in the quality that we have. Raheem Sterling couldn't have started ahead of Eden Hazard, nor Diego Costa, nor even Willian. We would be on the bench. Now he's our star player. That shows the quality that Chelsea have in the attacking department, and they are not being linked to a single attacker so far. I don't understand how come Todd Bowley has not even attempted to sign 2 to 3 wingers. We needed 2 to 3 great wingers who could dribble past players and create space for the other players. The problem with Chelsea, why they can't score goals, is that the wingers can't dribble past a single player. They have to rely on the passing game, and the passing game doesn't work because you commit only 2 to 3 players in the opposing penalty box. How are Chelsea going to score goals? They will never score goals if no player is ready to come. Now they are linked with Neymar. there is one day to for the transfer window to get closed, and now they are linked with Neymar just because he has, his form has picked up. We should have signed him before. Why didn't we sign him before? Usman Dembele was linked to Chelsea as well. These are the kind of players that Chelsea need, who can dribble past 3 to 4 players. Dembele would have been great choice on the right flank. That Mason Mount and that Hakim Ziyech are shit, totally shit. I don't know why that Mason Mount has been hyped so much. Although he looks like a humble human being, humble guy, he's a very humble guy, but he's a very average footballer. That to play for Chelsea, last season he played well. It was a surprise to me as well. He scored goals and provided assists. But still, I didn't think that he was a best player. And this season, the performance has been flat. I'm coming to that number 9, that Mr. Havertz. I'm not going to leave him. So in the right flank, if we had Dembele, that could have been a great choice. But Dembele ended up signing a long contract with Barcelona because Chelsea was linked to him. And look at his form, man. He's scoring goals easily for Barcelona. He's the second best player after Lewandowski for Barcelona now. If no top wingers are available or no top striker is available, at least go for our Jeremy Boga. At least go for Jeremy Boga. No? During Conte era, we had Jeremy Boga, Charlie Musonda when he was fit. This kind of players we had as a backup. Now what are the backup players we have? Pulisic, then overhyped American who should go immediately. If any clubs are wanting to take him, Tuchel should look to sell him, but he can't sell him now because we have not had any wingers in the transfer window. So we are stuck with the same players that were there the last season. If no top player is willing, no top winger, I'm not saying no top player, top defender is willing to come to Chelsea. If no top wingers are willing to come to Chelsea, at least go for Jeremy Boga then. You could get him for 15-20 million or pay him 25 million pounds. Na? At that time you are willing to bargain whenever it comes to the frontal attack department wherein you need players, and you are paying any amount, astronomical amount for the defenders like Cucurella and Fofana. You are paying 80 plus million pounds and you are willing to bargain for Aubameyang. You are bargaining for 5 to 10 million pounds. At that time, money becomes initially money becomes super valuable for you. That you need to bargain when we actually need the wingers and the striker. But you are bargaining for those positions which are the crucial position, and you're willing to pay any kind of money for the defenders. I normally don't pray to God, but when Harry Maguire was linked with Chelsea, it was first time I prayed that please let this news be false. It seemed that Tuchel is willing to go after any defender. He was even happy with Harry Maguire coming into our team, man. I can't understand what his love for defenders is. So Tuchel has to improve. So overall, this transfer window has been the worst, to be very honest, because it hasn't led to any excitement among the Chelsea supporters. If you ask them honestly, even though we are about to spend almost 300 million pounds, but out of that, at least 250 plus million pounds have been spent on defenders. This is first time I'm hearing any club in a single transfer window they spend around 250 million pounds for defenders. This is the first time I heard this. This transfer window is the second worst transfer window, as I said. But you can make it a bit sweet, for fans to create an excitement among the supporters by signing in Cristiano Ronaldo when the greatest player of all time is available. But still out there as well, Tuchel is saying no. The news are that he consulted with Ralf Rangnick to say whether to sign Ronaldo or not. Ralf Rangnick, the worst manager that Manchester United ever had. You are consulting with him to understand whether to sign the greatest player of all time or not. What kind of logic is this? When you have Ronaldo available in the market, how come you're not pouncing on him and you're willing to pounce on any other defenders, but you're staying away from Cristiano Ronaldo? I don't understand. When that Tuchel's son Kai Havertz, I think that as Mount was the son of Frank Lampard, it seems Kai Havertz seems to be son of Thomas Tuchel. That's the reason why he's been given so many chances, and he defends him in the press conferences. Whenever yesterday's press conference I was hearing, when the journalist tried to ask him, as in like only Raheem Sterling is scoring from the he's scoring in the front three. At that time, Tuchel ideally had an opportunity to criticize Kai Havertz that he's not performing to his best, because he was very quick in criticizing Romelu Lukaku last season. But he's not criticizing Kai Havertz at all, and that shows his bit partialness. I don't know what is it, but for 5 matches straight, Kai Havertz has been started and has not scored a single goal nor provided a single assist. That are the worst stats for a player, and Tuchel seems to defend him. Next match, I don't know, Armando Broja is an improvement, such a massive improvement over Kai Havertz. You could see in the last 30 final 30 minutes when he was brought in, he was going past players. He has skills, he has strength. He is a proper striker. He is not the shit false nine, that of philosophy that is running with Tuchel. I don't know what has captured him. Please get away from that false nine thing. It is not working. You need a proper striker. And Armando Broja should be started. If you are not willing to sign in Cristiano Ronaldo, then please let Armando Broja start at least, and give him the same patience that you have given for Kai Havertz. Don't, if he doesn't perform for a single match, don't axe him out from the team. Maintain the same patience at least for 2 to 3 matches. He will score goals for you. He's a good player. Chelsea supporters can see that Armando Broja is 100 times better than Kai Havertz, but Thomas Tuchel is, I don't know what is going on. And the main reason why Chelsea supporters were angry with Frank Lampard was because of the Mason Mount. When Mason Mount never used to perform during his first season with Chelsea, he wasn't the top performer, but he was started in every match by Lampard, and that was a primary reason for the downfall of Frank Lampard when few Chelsea supporters turned up against him for that biasness towards Mason Mount. And the same thing could happen for Thomas Tuchel as well, for his biasness towards Kai Havertz. It is clearly evident. And the only advice to the board would be, forget this season. Next season, you have to target the wingers who can replace Eden Hazard and Willian. We have not found an ideal replacement for these two great players for Chelsea till now. It has been almost 3 to 4 seasons, 2 to 3 seasons in both of them have left, and we have not yet replaced them actually. So in the next transfer window, we should ideally go for the wingers, because anyways you're spending money like anything. You spend on wingers instead, and that too quality wingers who can dribble, not just for the sake of wingers. The quality dribbling wingers. And to make this transfer window little better, to create little excitement among Chelsea supporters, please, if you have the money, please bring in Cristiano Ronaldo. He is what is needed for Chelsea. If the day when Cristiano Ronaldo will sign for Chelsea, I can assure you that many of the Chelsea supporters won't care even if we are not going to finish in the top 4, even if we are not going to go high in the Champions League. That kind of excitement this guy brings with him. And we need him, and he will score. Just imagine if that guy can score 24 goals under Ole and Rangnick, who are one of the worst managers for Manchester United. Imagine how many goals he can score under Tuchel. Even though Tuchel doesn't play that well when it comes to attack, but he can score goals. If he can give you 25-30 goals, that will increase your chances towards the top 4, because with Kai Havertz, you are not going to finish in the top 4, nor with Aubameyang. I don't think even with Aubameyang you are going to finish in the top 4. You need a player like Ronaldo, which can make Chelsea supporters go behind Chelsea, and even it will create an excitement among the co-players.